This live digital radio broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Subway, Hub International Insurance, The Medicine Shop, Bismarck State College, Bobcat of Mandan, Tires Plus, Chuppy Chiropractic Clinic, Bismarck LASIK, and Planning Team Financial Advisors. Make sure to stay up to date with all things high school athletics at PSP.network. Make sure to like and follow PSP Network on all social media platforms. PSP Network, it's game day. Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial. Whether
Well, good morning, and welcome to the inaugural edition of Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Good morning. Glad to have you aboard this morning on the PSP Network. Yes, it is a new show, a new company, but the same venue, folks, as we are live at the Stadium Lodge in Northwest Bismarck, and glad to have you aboard this morning on the PSP Network. Certainly, I've got to give a big thanks out to Nick Hallberg, for allowing this to happen, and certainly a big thanks to the Stadium Lodge for, I should say, treating us again for another a new season, a new era, and we are here at the Stadium Sports Bar and the Lodge for Overtime with Scott Woodmansee, where we'll for those of you that tuned in years past on the prior media employer, yes, it's on the same concept, but hopefully with this one, we're going to be able to have a little bit more fun from the Stadium Lodge. Some of the times that we run the show, the overtime may vary depending upon, I know next week UND, NDSU play, so we may move 11 to 1, but certainly we encourage you folks to stay tuned to the PSP.network, the website. Also, you can find us on all your social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter. We're all out there, and we're certainly excited to be a part of this, and looking forward to bringing you, some chat with some local coaches, local players, also some statewide media folks, some hopefully get some national people on the show, but certainly we're excited to be here. Yes, we are live, and one of the exciting things about this for the PSP Network is you can go out to PSP.network, and if your son and or daughter or husband or wife or coach or whatever is on the show and you're unable to catch the interview, well, you just go to PSP.network, and you certainly can listen to a rebroadcast of this show on the PSP.network. And today it is the first show, so certainly we may have some glitches. We hope not to, but some bumps and bruises along the way. But nonetheless, we're going to get through it. Here's coming up on the show after we get through this open here. In the next 10 minutes or so, we're going to talk with Nick Hallberg. Nick Hallberg is the founder of the PSP Network. Originated up in the Magic City up in Minot. And, certainly after several phone calls and several emails and you name it, and several adult beverages, certainly we were able to, Todd Domeries, Chuck Claremont, and myself, made the transition over to the PSP Network, and we're certainly glad to be aboard and looking forward to, another 25 years of doing this. We love what we do, and And we certainly hope you, the fans out there, enjoy the coverage that we're able to bring you each and every week throughout the high school season. So certainly after that, we'll talk with Ron Wingenbach, the head coach of the Century Patriots. Then we're going to talk with Steve Kleingen as well. Steve, the head coach of the New Salem Elmont Holsteins, his team on a roll. They got a big win last night. We'll talk with Chris Clements from the Legacy Sabres around 11:05. We'll kick off the 11 o'clock hour. We'll talk with him. And then, as I do each and every year, I got to bring on, one of the guys that certainly I've done a lot of work with, and just a guy, when you talk about the broadcast business, he's a consummate professional, and certainly he has proven that along the way. We'll talk with Jack Michaels. He's the radio voice of the University of North Dakota Fighting Hawks. And then we'll talk with Jeff Kolpak as well. Jeff has started a golf show down in Fargo on Saturday mornings. I believe he's got it rolling right now from 10 to 11, but I thought it would be appropriate to bring him on with, none other than the Ryder Cup taking place right now. The USA, certainly a big day yesterday. Right now, they're up in a couple of matches and down in a couple of matches, so certainly I know that's the big watch this weekend for a lot of folks is the USA trying to bring that back to the United States. So certainly we'll try and follow that for you as well. And then we'll round out the show with, he's the host of the Hot Mic down in Fargo, Dom Izzo. And the reason I in perusing social media today or this week, Dom Izzo on his Hot Mic brought up a topic, and I think that topic is really starting to heat up now. And the simple fact, for those of you that may or may not know, is the state of the high school football playoffs and the 2A football playoffs in North Dakota is that has been revamped this year. And they've got, particularly in the 2A side of things, they've got 6 teams out in the West, 4 teams out in the East, and unfortunately, based on how the playoffs break out, the Fargo Davies Eagles will not be able to qualify for the playoffs. They got a win last night. They shut out Bismarck High last night, and certainly this is a team that could end up with 6 or 7 wins on the season, and they're going to they're going to stay home, and that to me. And is not right, and I know Dom Izzo talked about that. He's got the same feeling, but we'll get some more thoughts from Dom as well as some other things. The Bison on a bye week this week. Dom is the TV voice now for the NDSU Bison as that media platform has changed. So lots of things have developed over the course of the year, but I think last night the conversation too. You get done doing high school football games, and then you go to, let's just say the local establishment, a.k.a. the Stadium and the Lodge, huh? Good place to go, and certainly that conversation trickled over. And speaking of the Stadium Lodge, again, Danny and the staff do such a great job up here, and if you're looking for a place today to watch the Ryder Cup, hey, we encourage you to come up here. That's probably about, I should say that. I think about the Ryder Cup. It's Saturday. It's college football. Lots of college football on today, so certainly make the Stadium Lodge your home. And also, the Stadium Lodge has some things coming up here. They're calling it the Game Day Kickoff Cook-Off. And so certainly, as one has already been in the book, they had a pickles cook-off. And October 2nd coming up, it'll be salsa. October 16th, mac and cheese. October 30th will be soup. November 13th will be chili. Prizes each week for that. Judge's choice, people's choice, random drawing. So, hey, if you've got some cooking talents and any of those fall into those cooking talents, reach out to the Stadium Lodge. No cost to enter it. They're going to limit it to the first 10 entries. 10 entries per event. You can contact Danny up here at the stadium to sign up. Bring your selected foods for the specific date. Stadium will provide all the tasting cups and utensils. Each event will have people's choice and judge's choice. 3 or 4 judges will be present. I'm going to possibly be a judge for that mac and cheese, soup, and chili contest because those are right up my alley. So certainly reach out to Stadium Lodge. There's going to be some specials going on as there are each and every day. Next week, the Bison and the University of North Dakota play. So that should be a lot of fun as well. So get up to the Stadium Lodge, check things out, open the doors, 11 o'clock today. They'll have the Ryder Cup on. They'll have college football on. I see Notre Dame on right now. But nonetheless, make the Stadium Lodge your home this afternoon. And last night, if you were able to tune into the PSP Network, we had lots of high school football for you. We had a double dip last night. Myron Schultz and myself were over at Legacy covering West Fargo Cheyenne and Legacy. And last night, Cheyenne just too much for the Sabres as they defeated Legacy by a score of 36-7. And then a pretty exciting game over in Mandan. Todd Darmy's Chuck Claremont and, our new camera operator, Nick Hallberg. No, he's not our new camera operator. We just had to bring him into – that's what you do. That's what you do when you run the company. You just got to be a multi-ventured guy. But had some video feed of that one, and Century stays undefeated there. I believe that's 27 straight, if I'm not mistaken, for the Century Patriots. They win at 21-14. Minot High, they throw a shutout against Williston 31-0. And Bismarck High, boy, I'll tell you what, it's certainly, I cannot, and Myron and I talked about this last night, is Myron, can you tell me the last time that Bismarck High has been shut out 2 weeks in a row in high school football? And I don't know that you can, much less when they've lost 2 in a row. Well, unfortunately, again, last night, Bismarck High struggled as Davies knocks them off 27-0. So 3 straight shutouts for the Bismarck Demons. And certainly Mark Gibson, we all know there, Isaiah Hoos went down against Fargo Shanley, had to have season-ending surgery. So certainly a big loss for the Demons. And they try to rebound, as they'll try to rebound next week as they travel out to Dickinson. On the Class A side of things last night, the 11A side of things, Dickinson beats Watford 33-14. Valley throws a shutout against Turtle Mountain. St. Mary's big over Wahpeton 51-20. And in a we'll just call it a double A matchup, it was Shanley defeating Jamestown 33-13. So St. Mary's, Jamestown flexing their muscle there in the Class A side of things. And we'll have all the coverage for you moving forward on that. Next week, a host of games. Legacy out at West Fargo. Davies in town to take on the Mandan Braves. We'll have that one for you on the PSP Network. Minot travels down to take on the Mustangs from West Fargo Cheyenne. Bismarck High, as we said, at Dickinson. St. Mary's up in Williston on their homecoming. And, boy, I tell you what, this should be a good one as well. Fargo Shanley in town to take on the Century Patriots as Shanley and Cheyenne appearing to be the 2 teams out in the eastern half of the state that are flexing their muscle. But nonetheless, that should be a good matchup. And then at Century, after that, Century, I believe, has got Bismarck High, and then they've got to go play Cheyenne, and that could be a matchup that we may see come in the Dakota Bowl coming up in the middle of November. So certainly lots of high school football going on, also volleyball taking place. We'll cover all of that here on Overtime. I know the high school soccer season winding down. Their tournament's coming up this week. Cross country in full swing. So certainly it's good to be back. Nice fall day today. But nonetheless, we'll have all the coverage for you right here on the PSP Network. We're going to take a time out here on Overtime, and then when we come back, we're going to talk with the founder and owner of the PSP Network, Nick Hallberg. You're listening to Overtime with Scott Woodmansee on the PSP Network. Back with more after this timeout.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know.
Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zzz?
I think your quash litter valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance? If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Purchase 4 eligible Firestone tires and receive up to $120 in a prepaid Visa gift card. Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
With 28 on the shot clock, 53 on the game clock, sends it inside. Here's Allie Nelson to the right side. Cheddar's open, 4-3, on low, she scores!
PSP Network has one mission: promoting our local athletes while delivering pro-quality broadcast coverage. Stay up to date with the PSP Network on Twitter @NetworkPSP and on Facebook @the PSP Network. Like and follow our social media for your chance to win. PSP Network. It's game day. Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Have real questions about your future? Here's your real answer. BSC offers hands-on training and a real college experience, making your future a reality. You don't have to travel far and wide for a really great education. Check us out at bismarckstate.edu.
BNC has been here for over 25 years.
We're still a community bank that's there for you.
When you come in with your business plan, your vision, your idea, we can make it a reality.
I love seeing projects come alive for our clients.
We're real people helping real people.
We know you, and we're always happy to see you.
We build relationships. You're part of the BNC family.
We are part of the community.
It's what we're built on.
Yours truly, BNC.
Got big plans? No matter what the size of the project, Bobcat of Mandan has a tough Bobcat skid steer or track loader for any job. Call Bobcat of Mandan and rent the perfect machine. Rentals are available by the day, week, or month with multiple attachment options and even a trailer when available. Special weekend rates too. Bobcat of Mandan also has Doosan excavators and payloaders, plus Coyote tractors for rent. Get the work done fast. Bobcat of Mandan on the Strip.
Would you enjoy waking up and not having to reach for your glasses? See clearly with LASIK from Bismarck LASIK. Imagine no more hassles or expenses of glasses and contacts. At Bismarck LASIK, our highly experienced LASIK surgeon, Dr. Stephen Wexler, and our state-of-the-art clinic can improve your vision through a quick corrective procedure that's affordable and life-changing. Book your free consultation with Bismarck LASIK. Call 701-222-2020, 701-222-2020, or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
The North Dakota Safety Council is dedicated to preventing injuries and saving lives by offering hundreds of safety courses. The NDSC helps workers return home safely every night and make sure schools are ready for any emergency. Our first aid training and defensive driving courses help save lives. We empower people through personal protection courses and operational risk assessments for businesses. We're a private, nonprofit organization committed to making North Dakota's homes, schools, communities, workplaces, and roads the safest in the nation. Learn more at ndsc.org.
The best part about working at BNC National Bank is developing relationships.
I love working with people.
We've been here for over 25 years.
We've grown just like our communities we're in.
But we still have that personal connection with our customers.
And that's why we can find the best solutions for them.
It feels great seeing projects around the community and knowing we're a small part of making that happen.
We're helping people buy their first homes.
Plan for the future.
From startups to big business.
We're part of the community.
And we're proud of it.
Yours truly, BNC.
This live digital radio broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Subway, Hub International Insurance, The Medicine Shop, Bismarck State College, Bobcat of Mandan, Tires Plus, Chuppy Chiropractic Clinic, Bismarck LASIK, and Planning Team Financial Advisors. Make sure to stay up to date with all things high school athletics at psp.network. Make sure to like and follow PSP Network on all social media platforms. PSP Network, it's game day.
Welcome back to the Stadium Lodge. Scott Woodmansee with you. Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Glad to have you aboard this morning on the PSP Network. As got 10 to noon, we'll be with you today. Again, those times may change, week to week, but nonetheless, 10 to noon. You can find us, check us out, PSP Network on our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, we're out there. Go check us out on the PSP Network. And joining me right now, the first guest of the first show of the Overtime. I guess it would be remiss if I didn't do it. But it's Nick Hallberg. Nick, hey, man, good morning. And I guess thanks for being here and walking me through the baby steps of this one. Again, it's a new environment, new atmosphere, but nonetheless, we'll get things figured out. But, man, hey, good morning. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Woody, for having me. Fantastic stuff, and something that I've always enjoyed is the Saturday morning sports show with you, so it only makes sense to do it. The only question I have right now, though, how do I get involved in being one of those judges at the stadium for the mac and cheese contest?
Well, I think that there's an outside chance that I know somebody that maybe I can work something out for you to be a part of that. But, yeah, are you kidding me? When Danny came up with that promotion and with the folks as well at Jerome's Distributing, I was like, all right, how do I be a part of the mac and cheese portion of this deal? Because I'm a mac and cheese kind of guy. Chili, soup, the salsa, I don't know, but those other ones, yeah, count me in, man.
Yeah, I would be in for all of them. I'm sure my wife's listening right now saying, hey, we decided no mac and cheese about 2 weeks ago. What happened here, But nevertheless, yeah, fantastic stuff at the stadium, and big thanks to them for being a part of this again here, Woody.
Yeah, and Nick, I guess let's just start and go back. And for those folks, I know that you hang your hat up in the Magic City, and really this whole thing for you started up in the Magic City, and I think it's a new venture for folks in the Bismarck-Mandan area. We've been fortunate, Todd, Chuck, and myself, to do what we've been doing for as number of years as we've been doing it. And again, I always say it's one of those things when you're sitting there doing games and calling games, you go, gosh, I really wonder if anybody's listening. But throughout the course of time, you really find out that people are listening. But enough about that. But the PSP Network, how, why, what, when, the whole works.
Well, the reality to it is that I actually got my start down in Bismarck with the Bobcats way back when. 36 years old now. I was 18 when I took that position with the Cats, and big thanks to Tom Briggle and everybody at the Bobcats organization for taking a chance on me, just a young pup at that time, of course. Started there, ended up, my dream job was pro hockey out in New York. Dream job was pro hockey. I got that gig out in New York working for the Ottawa Senators AA farm team. That lasted for a year. I decided the East Coast wasn't for me. I came back to North Dakota, where I like to be at places like the stadium and hunting pheasants. And, North Dakota, my wife's from North Dakota and stuff like that, and finding a great gal like that. And from there, I ended up coming back, and I had the opportunity to work at Beck Sports for a couple years, and all the respect to Beck and everything that they do there. They're a fantastic operation as well. And that led to getting back into hockey when the Minot Minotauros came back into that came to life actually in the North American League. And after that time, I continued to still call games on local radio, helping out here and there on local TV when they needed somebody to do play-by-play. And for years, we continued to do Minot High hockey on local radio. And one thing led to another, where basically over time we had taken the opportunity to get those games on the air. I went and solicited sponsorship to pay for it. That led to the idea of, hey, this is something that can work. This model would work as far as sports are concerned. And over time, it slowly developed. And then in 2019, I decided that, I was at a position where, frankly, I wasn't having as much fun at work as I wanted to have. And I said, you know what, let's jump into this thing face first and see if we can make it work. And we drew up a pretty good plan in my mind, from listening to guys like yourself and Scotty Cattell up in Minot, and, of course, my big idol, Jack Michaels and Tim Hennessy. They all have the same reason that they do it, and it's for the passion and for promoting these athletes. And we decided at that point that, we were onto something here where, with that passion, with that mission of promoting kids, we should take it and run with it and see what we can do with it. And that leads us to 2019, where we fully launched in Minot. We had a lot of success in Minot. The amount of backing that we got from the school and from the people listening and from these teams led us to a great 19 up until COVID time hit. And then that really opened a gate for us where we found out that, it was actually a positive for us with people not being able to be at the venues and things like that. And then we decided that, you know what, if this works in mine, there's no chance in hell that it's not going to work in Bismarck. And we decided to come down this way to Bismarck. And, of course, without you, yourself, Woody, and Chuck Claremont and Todd Domrey's, three of the best in the business, we frankly wouldn't be here. But with you guys on board and this mission with all the opportunities to promote high school kids and get more games on, we're here and we're excited to be a part of all of that.
Yeah, and really, I think it's again, when you talk about it and doing what we have done for so many years, and by the way, I know we're glad to be aboard on this thing, and it's something if we didn't believe in it, we wouldn't be here, and I think that's the important thing, and I think it's just the idea of, let's face it, with the new age, and you know more about it than I do, but. Everybody's got their own podcasts and all this stuff going on, and it just seems like this is the new wave. I mean, this is the new wave of radio. People are like, well, I can't get you in the car anymore. No, well, yeah, you can. You just got to put your phone on and bring us up, and you can hear us there. And I we just believe in it, and I think for us to believe in it and doing what we're doing, and I think people down here in the Bismarck-Mandan area, and quite frankly, the state. They just got to know, hey, this is where we're at, this is where we're going to be, and hopefully that'll come here in the near future.
That's a lot of what we talk about, Woody, I guess, with people is just that, for years you've been trained to hop in your vehicle and punch that dial in. Well, now we're doing the same thing just with PSP.network, where you can just have it right on your phone, Bluetoothed right into your vehicle, or plugged in right into the aux cord in your vehicle. It's no different. We're 3 clicks away from getting the game on the air. It's just a matter of time for people to understand that we're here and what we're trying to do. And frankly, I think that at the end of the day, like last night, where you can log in last night to PSP.network, click Listen Live, and choose, do you want to listen to Legacy play West Fargo Cheyenne, or do you want to watch Mandan and Century play? And you've got that opportunity right then and there. And just wait till we get further into this. I mean, mine was at Williston last night, a game that we would normally cover, but we didn't think it would be much of a contest. And with 2 games down here, we didn't have that. Well, on most given nights, we're going to have 3 or 4 broadcasts going where all at one platform, you've got the opportunity to dial in and watch and listen to the athletic matchups. And again, at the end of the day, it's just about getting kids promoted, and more opportunities to do that is better for everybody involved in communities and sports fans and really the kids themselves. Yeah,
certainly, and I think that's what it's all about. It's the promotion of kids, and I think the one thing that people have to understand is that, if we didn't believe in it, and when I say we, I say Todd, Chuck, and myself, if we didn't believe in our my stepson's is a senior this year. Chuck's kids are out of high school. TD's kids, he's got 2 boys coming up. But you know what? That doesn't matter. I mean, it's the fact of promoting these kids, giving them the recognition that they deserve in all different avenues. And just the love of sports and the other thing, you sit there and it really sometimes it makes you feel old when you're watching and you're doing a game, a football, baseball, basketball game, and you go, oh gosh, I played baseball with that kid's dad. Yeah. And so you kind of go, ugh. Wow, but nonetheless, that's why we're here, and that's why we do, and that's why we love doing what we do.
Yeah, absolutely, and we as PSP Network, we couldn't be more excited to have the 3 gentlemen down here in Bismarck. Yourself, Woody, I can't stress that enough. I mean, the amount of respect that we have for, and by we, I'm talking myself and Scott Cattell up in Minot as well, and my wife is a part of this business as well on the back end, and there's just something to be said about that familiar voice and the amount of tradition that there is with sports, and your voice and Claremont and Domrey's. I mean, 3 of the best in the business. I was telling Chuck last night, I said, hey, man, football is really not my sport. I'm more of a hockey guy. I know hockey a little bit. I know basketball a little bit. Football is just a little, it's a little much for me sometimes. I do it. I love to call football, but it's without somebody that knows the game, it makes it a little bit of a challenge. I was telling him last night, I said, frankly, I'm a little bit of an idiot when it comes to it, but at the end of the day, with the help that we have and guys like you on board, it makes it a lot more fun to be a part of it.
You see his bag when he shows up to the facility?
I'm just so blown away.
You see his pens?
It's impressive.
Huh? It looks like a Crayola box.
It's awesome.
Huh? It's a Crayola box is what it is. But no, he does a hell of a job, and certainly it's awesome. TD as well. I mean, I couldn't ask for two better guys to be doing this. And again, thank you, Nick. Hey, stick around. We got more to come here on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. We're going to take another time out here, and when we come back, we're going to talk with the head coach of the Century Patriots, Ron Wingenbach, his team undefeated and rolling right now. You're listening to Overtime with Scott Woodmansee on the PSP Network. Back with more after this timeout.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know.
Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zoom, zoom?
I think your quash litter valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance? If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Purchase 4 eligible Firestone tires and receive up to $120 in a prepaid Visa gift card. Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
With 28 on the shot clock, 53 on the game clock, sends it inside. Here's Allie Nelson to the right side. Cheddar's open, 4-3, on low, she scores!
PSP Network has one mission: promoting our local athletes while delivering pro-quality broadcast coverage. Stay up to date with the PSP Network on Twitter @NetworkPSP and on Facebook @The PSP Network. Like and follow our social media for your chance to win. PSP Network. It's game day. Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Have real questions about your future? Here's your real answer. BSC offers hands-on training and a real college experience, making your future a reality. You don't have to travel far and wide for a really great education. Check us out at bismarckstate.edu.
BNC has been here for over 25 years.
We're still a community bank that's there for you.
When you come in with your business plan, your vision, your idea, we can make it a reality.
I love seeing projects come alive for our clients.
We're real people helping real people.
We know you, and we're always happy to see you.
We build relationships. You're part of the BNC family.
We are part of the community.
It's what we're built on.
Yours truly, BNC.
Got big.
Yeah, welcome back to Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Glad to have you aboard this morning on the PSP Network as we are live from the Stadium Lodge. Glad to have you aboard this morning. Hey, if you're looking for a place to watch some college football, maybe, the Ryder Cup's going on right now. Make the Stadium Lodge your choice this afternoon as they're going to take care of you up here. I think they got specials, Bloody Marys, something like that. I don't know. It's all good stuff today going on. But, Nick Holberg, he was our first guest, but that was kind of, just one of those things. But our first official guest on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee in the PSP Network is the head coach of the Century Patriots, Ron Wingenbach. Winger, good morning. How are you this morning?
Hang on one second here, Coach. We apologize. Hang on one second here. Coach, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Oh, there we go. There he is. Coach, good morning. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Scott. Doing very well.
Well, hey, it's good to have you as the first guest on the new platform, the new show, Winger. But, I'll tell you what, nonetheless, the last couple of weeks, let's just say, Ron, probably not where you wanted those scores to be, but you got victories. But I guess before we get into those specific games, Winger, I mean, talk about the start of this season, where you feel this football team is right now compared to when you start. A grinded-out win against Legacy, big win over Williston. You knock off West Fargo, but really the meat of the football schedule certainly awaits you in the upcoming weeks.
Well, I think you kind of hit it right on the head. We kind of challenged the team here the last couple of weeks, knowing that, like you said, the big grind was coming, and we've been up and down a little bit, and we've been bit by the turnover bug, and our team hasn't been used to that the last several years, and so it's that thing. In football, you got to face some adversity and see how the kids handle it, and we've had to battle through some turnovers, some poor field position, and last night certainly a couple breakdowns on special teams and things of that nature. But you're putting the game in 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, and they're going to make mistakes. It's probably comparable to missing a clutch free throw in basketball near the end of the game. So in football, you just got to take advantage of the situations. And the last couple of games, we haven't done that. And so that's something that we'll address and get back to in practice.
Yeah, and I think, too, Ron, if you're looking at it, this is the time of the year, you don't want to see those breakdowns as a head coach or a staff. You don't want to see those kinds of things. But, again, we turn the page now to October. And really, if you talk to any basketball coaches, they want to be playing better at the end of February than they do at the beginning of December. And certainly now it's a time where you get into October and now you see what changes you have to make with your football team. But, I mean, do you somewhere look at that maybe, Winger, as maybe some sort of a positive?
Well, I think so. We're still trying to identify some key depth throughout the lineup, and I think over the last several weeks we've been able to do that, whether it be in varsity competition or in practice. Last night especially, we had 2 interceptions on the offensive side, and if memory serves me correct, that's the first 2 of the year, and it's Brady Dahl's done a heck of a job for us, and the offensive line has gelled, and it just seems like at times when we do break down, miss block here, miss block there, it's just been glorified, and that's kind of the nature of football. There's a reason there's 11 guys on the field, and they all have responsibilities, and when one little aspect breaks down, at times it affects the whole play, and it's like I said, it's been glorified here the last several weeks, and so that's concerning, and yet you go back to the drawing board, and all of that is correctable.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Ron, you talked about Brady Dahl, and at one point I think maybe you thought that he might be a guy that might step into that backfield, and I had a chance to watch your game in West Fargo, and really that was my first look at you guys, based on how our coverage is broken out. But I mean, have you been pleased, and now Brady being your quarterback, and was he always? I mean, at what stage did you know that he was going to run the show for your football team this year, which certainly has a long history of great quarterbacks that come out of Century?
Well, I think last year with Noah Schaffner at the helm, just because of some. A previous injury that Brady had to his knee.
Sure.
His reps at the JV level were very, very minimal, and we decided to just keep him at a lot of the practices on Monday nights, and so he probably didn't get the number of reps that most JV quarterbacks do, but some of that was because we knew that we had a pretty good QB ready to go in case something happened to Noah, and he's done everything in his power to get bigger, faster, stronger, and it kind of showed last night in some key situations. He got some big first downs for us.
Yeah, certainly. As we're talking with Ron Wingenbach, the head coach of the Century Patriots, Ron, and then you look at at your defensive side of the ball. I mean, boy, 7 points, 0, 13, 12, 14, and historically your defense has been pretty good. But when you can anchor that thing with an all-stater, Lucas Schweigert returning, certainly, are you pleased with where your defense is right now? I mean, certainly not giving up a whole lot of points, and really. Last night, coming up and not letting Mandan get in the end zone in a 7-point football game.
Well, I think, you look back at the second half, especially last night, our defense had 4 3-and-outs. And that was critical. The points that they got didn't come off of our defensive unit. It came off our special teams and offense. So with that being said, we've been very pleased. We knew coming into the season that was probably our most experienced side of the ball. And, if you think back to last year, early in the season, our secondary really got picked on, and some of those kids grew up, and we've got some younger kids now taking reps back there, and we feel pretty good actually about our depth. Some of it's pretty young, but at the linebacker position, Ben Mansmith and Jacob Bosley have kind of anchored the inside, and then we've had kind of a rotation on the outside with William Hermanson and Braden Hendricks at the strong safety or our strong outside linebacker, and our will linebacker, Seth Nelson, has just improved throughout the year. But you're right, it all starts up front. And not only Lucas Schweigert this year, but Jacob Burkhardt, who was a honorable mention last year. And you start looking at some of the combinations that our coaching staff has put together there. Jaden Braun has moved in and done a good job at the end position, and a newcomer kind of to the defensive side of the ball was number 76, Joel Edlin, last night. And we got a lot of reps out of him out in Dickinson, and he's just starting to really fill in a very valuable position for us on both offense and defense, and he's come a long way.
Well, it's good to find those guys this time of the year, is it not?
You bet it is, because we know down the stretch here you're going to need a lot of those guys.
Well, you talk about down the stretch, Ron, and certainly it starts next week. I mean, you talk about, a gauntlet. I know a team that's really kind of been that you've really had the number of in West Fargo Cheyenne the last couple of years. But, due to the new change in the football divisions and what they've done, you've got Fargo Shanley for homecoming, and then you've got Bismarck High, and then you go down and play West Fargo Cheyenne. And probably a couple of years ago, the way, or not probably, but the way it was set up, I don't know that those teams would have been on your schedule. But nonetheless, are you okay, Ron, when you look at, knowing that, hey, Shanley might be a team we might meet in the playoffs? We know what Cheyenne has. We've played them before, but certainly they looked impressive last night. But, just talk about this upcoming schedule and what kind of preparation is going to go into the next few weeks.
Well, if you kind of look at it, the last few opponents, the West Fargo Packers brought in kind of an aerial display, and then Dickinson and Mandan kind of mirror each other. They're going to just battle it out in the trenches. They got a lot of big kids on those respective teams. And, the one thing that as a defensive staff, you kind of look at is the next several games, you're going to see kind of a contrast in style.
Yeah.
The Deacons are fast, and they're going to spread us, and they're going to throw the ball around, and we know that's coming. And then the next week after that, you got the Bismarck High Demons, and they know us, and we know them, and then after that, you get into the another big physical team in the Mustangs. And the one thing that you had mentioned, we had played those teams before, but it's when we played them.
Yep.
And it was always the non-conference schedule when you had the East versus West. And that's the part that's a little different is, you kind of gear up for your conference schedule and the familiarity. And all of a sudden now this year, it's you're playing teams that, you've played them before, but there's not that true familiarity that you've had in the past. And so, with that being said, we got a lot of work to do in preparation. It's homecoming. It's, we didn't get an opportunity to play at the bowl in September. And so kids are looking forward to getting back there. And it's a big ball game, but yet, if you got to keep the big picture throughout the rest of the regular season kind of in mind and make sure your kids don't get too high. And like I said, just make sure that they're ready for the end of October into November.
Hey, Ron, do head football coaches like homecoming week?
Well, it's kind of I'll tell you what, you got to keep a tight pulse on some of those kids. But, overall, we've been very successful with our homecomings. And I think we've got a very veteran staff that certainly remind the kids throughout the day, because the majority of them are teachers up at Century. So we get to watch them pretty close.
Yeah, no question about it. Well, Winger, hey, appreciate the time this morning. We'll hopefully do it again down the road, but best of luck the rest of the way out into October and certainly into the playoffs, and keep up the great work, all right?
Okay, thanks a lot, Scott.
Hey, you got it, Winger. Take care. Ron Wingenbach, the head football coach of the Century Patriots, as they continue to roll, man. I'll tell you what, they've reeled off 27 in a row, and certainly they're looking to keep it going, but it's not going to get easy as Shanley comes in here, and they like to sling it. Should be a fun one for homecoming and the Century Patriots. We'll take another time out here on the overtime. When we come back, we're going to talk a little 9-man football. We're going to talk with the head coach of the New Salem Elmont Holsteins, Steve Kleingen, back with more on the PSP Network after this timeout.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know.
Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zoom, zoom?
I think your quash litter valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance? If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Purchase 4 eligible Firestone tires and receive up to $120 in a prepaid Visa gift card. Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
With 28 on the shot clock, 53 on the game clock, sends it inside. Here's Allie Nelson to the right side. Cheddar's open, 4-3, on low, she scores!
PSP Network has one mission: promoting our local athletes while delivering pro-quality broadcast coverage. Stay up to date with the PSP Network on Twitter @NetworkPSP and on Facebook @The PSP Network. Like and follow our social media for your chance to win. PSP Network, it's game day. Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Have real questions about your future? Here's your real answer. BSC offers hands-on training and a real college experience, making your future a reality. You don't have to travel far and wide for a really great education. Check us out at bismarckstate.edu.
BNC has been here for over 25 years.
We're still a community bank that's there for you.
When you come in with your business plan, your vision, your idea, we can make it a reality.
I love seeing projects come alive for our clients.
We're real people helping real people.
We know you, and we're always happy to see you.
We build relationships. You're part of the BNC family.
We are part of the community.
It's what we're built on.
Yours truly, BNC.
Got big plans? No matter what the size of the project, Bobcat of Mandan has a tough Bobcat skid steer or track loader for any job. Call Bobcat of Mandan and rent the perfect machine. Rentals are available by the day, week, or month with multiple attachment options and even a trailer when available. Special weekend rates too. Bobcat of Mandan also has Doosan excavators and payloaders, plus Coyote tractors for rent. Get the work done fast. Bobcat of Mandan on the Strip.
Would you enjoy waking up and not having to reach for your glasses? See clearly with LASIK from Bismarck LASIK. Imagine no more hassles or expenses of glasses and contacts. At Bismarck LASIK, our highly experienced LASIK surgeon, Dr. Stephen Wexler, and our state-of-the-art clinic can improve your vision through a quick corrective procedure that's affordable and life-changing. Book your free consultation with Bismarck LASIK. Call 701-222-2020, 701-222-2020, or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
The North Dakota Safety Council is dedicated to preventing injuries and saving lives by offering hundreds of safety courses. The NDSC helps workers return home safely every night and make sure schools are ready for any emergency. Our first aid training and defensive driving courses help save lives. We empower people through personal protection courses and operational risk assessments for businesses. We're a private, nonprofit organization committed to making North Dakota's homes, schools, communities, workplaces, and roads the safest in the nation. Learn more at ndsc.org.
The best part about working at BNC National Bank is developing relationships.
I love working with people.
We've been here for over 25 years.
We've grown just like our communities we're in.
But we still have that personal connection with our customers.
And that's why we can find the best solutions for them.
It feels great seeing projects around the community and knowing we're a small part of making that happen.
We're helping people buy their first homes.
Plan for the future.
From startups to big business.
We're part of the community.
And we're proud of it.
Yours truly, BNC.
This live digital radio broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Subway, Hub International Insurance, The Medicine Shop, Bismarck State College, Bobcat of Mandan, Tires Plus, Chuppy Chiropractic Clinic, Bismarck LASIK, and Planning Team Financial Advisors. Make sure to stay up to date with all things high school athletics at psp.network. Make sure to like and follow PSP Network on all social media platforms. PSP Network, it's game day.
Yeah, welcome back to Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. We're live from the Stadium Lodge up here in Northwest Bismarck. Glad to have you aboard this morning on the PSP Network. And, hey, if you're looking for a place to watch the Ryder Cup, watch some college football, make the Stadium Lodge your choice this afternoon. Danny and the staff certainly will do a great job taking care of you. They're already in here. Elena's already in here this morning. Making sure things are sanitized and taken care of, and boy, I tell you what, it's make the Stadium Lodge your choice. Well, our next guest this morning was going to be, hopefully it will be, the head coach from the New Salem Elmont Holsteins, but we were having some trouble efforting him this morning, as I'm not sure if Coach Kleingen is sleeping or what he is doing, but we're certainly trying to effort Coach Kleingen as his team continues to roll. Last night, they got a big victory last night at home. So as we still try to think, I'm glad Nick is here. As Nick, This is what happens in this business, doesn't it?
Well, sometimes, yeah, absolutely. I think that's all right. I don't know what to think. I'm sure there's plenty going on this morning after a big win last night. Hey, I got to tell you, I thought that the conversation just now, just a moment ago with the Century head coach, and what a run that is. I think the big thing for me that I think about each and every time that I see a Century score or see them on the schedule is, how much is that coaching staff dealing with the streak and what those kids are going through with that streak? It was talked about last night.
Well, and you notice, that was one of the things that I was going to ask. I meant to ask Coach Wingenbach, but I thought, well, and I'm sure he gets that question a lot. And I thought, you know what? I really thought that I know Chuck asked that question last night to, I believe it was Brady Dahl, or maybe it was Brady Dahl or Renz, I think is who he interviewed. And I thought the young man answered it correctly. He said, no. He said, we look at what we're going to do this week. I mean, we're looking at Fargo Shanley right now. I mean, this is what we are. That will take care of itself, and you look at it and you go, gosh, sometimes you see it in basketball, you see it in volleyball, you go, is it good maybe if we just get clipped one week and just get it over with? But you look at the run the Century volleyball team's been on. I mean, they've been on the same kind of run themselves. And so I don't know. I mean, I guess that's a question that you pose out there. you know, I don't know. Is it good or bad?
For me, it would be on my mind. I think as a player, as a broadcaster, as a fan, as anybody just in the community knowing it. I mean, they're tracking down some all-time records here, new era kind of stuff. You know, you got to go way back in the record books. Last night is what Chuck Claremont and Todd Domrys were speaking of, to find a run, you know, like this with more wins and all that sort of stuff. And you look at it, and to me, it seems like at a certain point, and credit, I think really what the message here would be is credit to that Century staff for not allowing it to be a distraction to the ball team, because they're obviously doing a great job with it.
You know, and then you take the flip side of things. And also one thing I'll pass along is that, you know, moving forward as we continue to show, one of the things that we're going to try to institute, hopefully we can build this listenership up on the PSP network, is we're going to be able to have some people, hopefully open lines, and people can call in and bring up any topics with me or whoever we have and discuss that. But the one thing I'll bring up is, since we're talking about that, is you look at the other side of the things. You look at Fargo Shanley. 2019, 2020, state title game, Century beats them. 2018, I believe it was a semifinal game, Century beats them. And so you go and you say to yourself, well, we got Century on the schedule in the regular season this year. May meet up with them in the title game. Do we want to? You want to win the game, but it's tough to beat the same team twice in 1 year.
Yeah, 100%.
And the same thing goes for Century. You know, you play Cheyenne in the regular season, which they probably wouldn't in a normal year. But if they did, it'd be early, and then you get them again late. Now you get them in October. And then that short turnaround, and you know, so there's a lot of variables that come into play, and it'll be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. Because I can tell you one thing right now, I mean, Cheyenne has taken the back end of Century for a number of years, and you know one thing is that they don't want to do that again. But on the flip side of things, Century's going to have their kids ready to play each and every night.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Not that Cheyenne won't.
There's no doubt about it that Century is the team to beat in the West region and in North Dakota AA football this year. However, I found it interesting, some of the parity this year when you look at what Dickinson was able to do against them. Credit Mandan. That's a hardworking football team. They're lunch pail hard hat group of kids over in Mandan across the river. And that game last night, I mean, it was a one-possession ball game, and it was a special teams affair and a hard-hitting contest. I mean, anything could happen. It's going to be interesting to see how that comes along, and it's also interesting the comment on homecoming. I love that question to him as well of just, you know, how much of a factor is that, and do you like the homecoming week? His little stutter step on answering that question was kind of gave you the answer that you knew you were looking for, you know?
Yeah, well, and let's just say that Winger answered it politically correct. I mean, as he should, but nonetheless, you know, certainly it's going to be fun to watch that play out. You know, we look too as you look at the one thing that I really like to look forward to, and hopefully we'll be able to knock off a couple of those games. Is unfortunately we couldn't effort Coach Kleingen. Not sure the issue there, but the 9-man side of things, and their playoffs are coming up right around the corner. Last night, New Salem Elmont moves to 5-0. They defeat Richardson Taylor 48-14, and another game that was a big game last night that was up in Powers Lake is you had Divide County coming in undefeated, and also Ray Powers Lake, number 4 in the 9-man poll, Divide County receiving votes, 58-52.
Wow.
That sounds like a halftime score of a basketball game.
Yeah,
58-52. Divide County wins that one last night. So certainly the fireworks are going in 9-man football, and that's always a fun one to call. That's always a fun game when you get to the Dakota Bowl.
Well, 100%. We'll have coverage of the Dakota Bowl every game at the Dakota Bowl here on the PSP Network, of course. And, yeah, the 9-man game is interesting. It's certainly action-packed, especially if you get a couple teams that can sling it like that last night. When you get over 100 points in high school football, you know that you're going to have your pen and hand moving quite a bit on your score sheet, Woody, without a doubt.
Yeah, no question about it. Well, certainly we apologize. We are not able to effort Steve Kleingen, but certainly, hopefully, we'll try to get him on next week here on the PSP Network. But with that, we're going to take another time out here on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. And we come back, we're going to talk with the head coach of the Legacy Sabres, Chris Clements, back with more on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee after this timeout on the PSP Network.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know.
Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zoom, zoom?
I think your quash litter valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance? If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics. Purchase 4 eligible Firestone tires and receive up to $120 in a prepaid Visa gift card. Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
With 28 on the shot clock, 53 on the game clock, sends it inside. Here's Allie Nelson to the right side. Cheddar's open, 4-3, on low, she scores!
PSP Network has one mission: promoting our local athletes while delivering pro-quality broadcast coverage. Stay up to date with the PSP Network on Twitter @NetworkPSP and on Facebook @The PSP Network. Like and follow our social media for your chance to win. PSP Network. It's game day. Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Have real questions about your future? Here's your real answer. BSC offers hands-on training and a real college experience, making your future a reality. You don't have to travel far and wide for a really great education. Check us out at bismarckstate.edu.
BNC has been here for over 25 years.
We're still a community bank that's there for you.
When you come in with your business plan, your vision, your idea, we can make it a reality.
I love seeing projects come alive for our clients.
We're real people helping real people.
We know you, and we're always happy to see you.
We build relationships. You're part of the BNC family.
We are part of the community.
It's what we're built on.
Yours truly, BNC.
Welcome back to Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Glad to have you aboard here on the PSP Network as we are live from the Stadium Lodge. If you're looking for a place, college football underway, Ryder Cup underway, Notre Dame getting ready to take on Wisconsin. So make your way up to the Stadium Lodge and check out all of the college football action up here. Full-service menu, you name it, they've got it for you up here at the Stadium Lodge. And joining me right now on the phone, I do believe, we have the head coach of the Legacy Sabres, Chris Clements. Clem, good morning. How are you this morning?
Well, I've had better mornings, but I'm okay with it. Thanks.
Yes, you have. And Clem, we had a chance to cover that game last night. And Clem, before we get into that game, let's just talk about going back to August 27th, the start of your football season. You open up with Century, and then we get into the Dickinson and Fargo Davies. And I guess, Clem, where do you feel you guys are at right now versus the start of the football season?
We're starting to. Well, I don't. We're still trying to find what our identity is.
Yep.
Against the double A schools, and what we can rely our what we're going to do best. And I don't think we're still trying to search for that. And see how that's going to shake out, So I think we're starting to figure some things out, but when you play against the Centuries and you play against a team like Cheyenne, your deficiencies really stick out. So it's trying to shore those things up and create opportunities for ourselves and move forward.
Yeah, and two, and obviously you could see a little bit of that last night. And I guess, Clem, the one question I'll ask you is we saw you. We saw you go multiple quarterbacks last night, and certainly I thought when you brought in your second quarterback last night, I thought really, I thought he gave you somewhat of a spark, showing that he could run the football a little bit more. Is that something that you think you're going to continue to do the rest of the way as we roll into October?
Well, it's one of those things that you want to see one of those guys just step up and take the reins, and I'm still waiting for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we have a clear-cut guy yet, and I'm waiting for the intangible things to shake out. And it's both of them have skill sets that are a little bit different than each other.
Yep.
And I'm starting to, I'm starting to want to see one of those guys step up and take the reins.
Yeah, certainly. Again, last night you talked about talking off air, and then West Fargo Cheyenne comes in. Probably a team that, with this new format and the new alignment in football, and that's a whole nother question, a whole nother conversation. But here's a team that's been in the last two Dakota Bowls, and Clem, I'll tell you my first look at you guys last night, my first look at West Fargo Cheyenne, and boy, I'll tell you what, West Fargo Cheyenne proved that they're going to be another team to contend with. And I just think that it seemed like your team, they came out and they got on that, they sustained that opening quarter drive, and they just took it right down the field, took about 6.5 minutes off the clock. And did you think your defense wore down a little bit last night against that team?
Well, I think what happened is, we had opportunities to get off the field.
Yeah, exactly.
And we had a couple procedure penalties, which we knew what was going to happen. And you practice those things, and they don't go well for you. But our inability to get off the field on third and fourth down really hurt us early last night, I thought. And if you get off the field in those early situations, maybe it's a little bit different. That being said, they're really, really good. And they're really, really good in the trenches. And when your O-line and D-line is dominant like theirs, you got to find ways to create opportunities for yourself, and we didn't do that last night.
Yeah, you didn't. And two, you look, Clem, and you talk about those procedure penalties, and Myron Schultz, the old coach, was working with me last night, and he called it out what they were running, and at what point, Clem, do you just start scratching your head and say, guys, what more do I have to tell you?
Well, I mean, it happens at all levels, right?
Yeah, it sure does. Exactly.
I mean, you see it everywhere from Pop Warner up into the pros, and guys that are making millions of dollars do the same thing.
Exactly.
So it's the human element.
Yeah.
So, and you can practice it, and just go back and have to focus on it again, and here we go. So,
Clem, as you look here after obviously last night's game, obviously you got to put that in. You got to put that on the back burner now, and you got to move forward as we turn into October, and now you go down and you get one West Fargo team. Now you got another one, and then Minot High, Bismarck High. And then what could prove to be a real big game at the end of the season, Mandan. So certainly, I mean, by looking at this, it feels that right now you're starting to get into the meat of the Legacy Sabres schedule. And I know you said you're looking to find that identity, and hopefully that comes sooner than later. But what are some things that this team's got to do to improve, and maybe by doing those things, maybe will help you find your identity?
Well, I think everything starts up front with us. We have to be able to run the football. And so that being said, we have to get better up front on both sides of the ball. And kids, working with teenage kids is challenging in itself. But we just got to get better up front and be able to run the football and stop the run.
Clem, when you look at, certainly, some of the things looking over last night, your numbers seem to be good, but, is it fair to say that I know a couple of years it bit you a little bit, but has the injury bug maybe bit this team a little bit this year?
Well, I'm not going to.
And we can't do. Yeah, we don't need excuses. Yeah. I know, but it just right. it just or we're not looking for excuses in any way. It's like you said, it's football. It happens at all levels. You deal with it, but it just it just seems like the injury bug seems to find the Legacy Sabres during the football season.
Well, if it does, that's opportunity for another kid to step up.
Yep, exactly.
And that's going to build our depth in the long run. So, that is what it is. You're always going to have that, and hopefully that makes us stronger going towards the end of the season.
Yeah, it certainly will, and obviously that's when you want to be playing your best football. But West Fargo, I don't know if you've had to watch any tape on them. I know they're probably maybe what they consider a down year, but what do you see? What do you see with this West Fargo team? Maybe you haven't watched any tape yet on this team, but West Fargo on the road, a team you're familiar with them. You played them before, but what do you know about this team this year?
Well, Jay's teams are always going to be play to their strengths. Obviously, they got a talented kid in Hagerly, and they got some other kids that are very, very good. So, it's for us. Our challenge is going to be going on the road and taking care of what we need to take care of. And we are right now in our own situations, we are our own worst enemy. So our room for error is very, very small.
Yep.
And so we got to eliminate the mistakes and come ready to play on the road in West Fargo.
Yeah, West Fargo, you had 2 home games in a row. Now you got to go, and you said now you got to go on the road twice, West Fargo and Minot, and then you get Bismarck High, and then you're against Mandan. So certainly some big key games coming up for you when it comes to determining playoff implications, so to speak.
Yeah, it's every with the new situation, every game is that much more important.
Yep.
So we'll don't want to get into the discussion of
we'll take care of that.
The divisions.
Yeah, that's my job.
Yeah, I have my opinions on it, but it is what it is, and whatever schedule they put out in front of us, we have to play, whether we like it or not. So.
Yeah,
here we go.
Yeah, Clem, real quick, too, before we let you go, the numbers up at Legacy, if I'm not mistaken, a record number of kids out for football this year. The future of Legacy football, is it bright with that many of kids out for football?
Always. If you get that number of kids out, you like where you're at. So getting them out and keeping them out and those things, that's what we'll work on and take forward.
Absolutely. Well, Clem, hey man, as always, appreciate the time, my friend. What's a high school football coach do on a Saturday? Sit around and watch college football now, or what?
I've already watched 3 West Fargo games this morning, so it's one of those things. And then I'm going to watch another one, and then I'll probably go rewatch those again. So it's there's college football going on in the background.
Oh,
my laptop's open and I'm watching film.
Perfect. Love it. The life of a ball coach. Love it. Clem, hey, man, have a great weekend. Appreciate your time. We'll talk to you soon. All right, man?
All right. Appreciate it. Take care.
You got to take care. Chris Clements, the head coach of the Legacy Sabres, and there you have it, the life of an old ball coach. Huh? Just watching film, watching the game, rewatching the game, and you got to love it. Chris Clements, certainly. But he was right, Nick. I'll tell you, that West Fargo Cheyenne team, they are big.
They're big and they're strong. I noticed that it was interesting last year at the state basketball tournament, walking into the Bismarck Event Center and walking in and watching West Fargo Cheyenne on day number 1 of the tournament. You walked in there and you're just like, is this a college shoot-around? What's going on here? There were some athletes there that were built pretty big. And you see that with their lineup across the board, and in all sports, they certainly have some studs over on the east side of the state. They're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, they certainly are. As there you hear it from head coach Chris Clements. We're going to take another timeout on overtime as we are in the 11 o'clock hour. We're not in overtime, but we're on overtime. We'll figure it out as we move forward. We come back. Well, we're going to talk with a guy that I've got the utmost respect for. A guy that certainly has taught me some things in this business. We're going to talk with the radio voice of, well, he's the radio voice of everything in the Red River Valley. We'll talk with Jack Michaels. We come back with more on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Back after this timeout on the PSP Network.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know.
Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zoom, zoom?
I think your quash litter valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance? If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics. Purchase 4 eligible Firestone tires and receive up to $120 in a prepaid Visa gift card. Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
With 28 on the shot clock, 53 on the game clock, sends it inside. Here's Allie Nelson to the right side. Cheddar's open, 4-3, on low, she scores!
PSP Network has one mission: promoting our local athletes while delivering pro-quality broadcast coverage. Stay up to date with the PSP Network on Twitter @NetworkPSP and on Facebook @The PSP Network. Like and follow our social media for your chance to win. PSP Network, it's game day. Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Have real questions about your future? Here's your real answer. BSC offers hands-on training and a real college experience, making your future a reality. You don't have to travel far and wide for a really great education. Check us out at bismarckstate.edu.
BNC has been here for over 25 years.
We're still a community bank that's there for you.
When you come in with your business plan, your vision, your idea, we can make it a reality.
I love seeing projects come alive for our clients.
We're real people helping real people.
We know you, and we're always happy to see you.
We build relationships. You're part of the BNC family.
We are part of the community.
It's what we're built on.
Yours truly, BNC.
Got big plans? No matter what the size of the project, Bobcat of Mandan has a tough Bobcat skid steer or track loader for any job. Call Bobcat of Mandan and rent the perfect machine. Rentals are available by the day, week, or month with multiple attachment options and even a trailer when available. Special weekend rates too. Bobcat of Mandan also has Doosan excavators and payloaders, plus Coyote tractors for rent. Get the work done fast. Bobcat of Mandan on the Strip.
Would you enjoy waking up and not having to reach for your glasses? See clearly with LASIK from Bismarck LASIK. Imagine no more hassles or expenses of glasses and contacts. At Bismarck LASIK, our highly experienced LASIK surgeon, Dr. Stephen Wexler, and our state-of-the-art clinic can improve your vision through a quick corrective procedure that's affordable and life-changing. Book your free consultation with Bismarck LASIK. Call 701-222-2020, 701-222-2020, or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
The North.
Yeah, welcome back to Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Glad to have you aboard on the PSP Network. We are live from the Stadium Lodge in Northwest Bismarck. Glad to have you aboard on the PSP Network. Hey, again, we got to remind you of those cook-offs coming up. We'll recap those for you. Mac and cheese, chili, soup. Well, they're coming up here as we turn into October. So reach out to Danny up here at the Stadium Lodge to find out if you got a recipe that certainly can thinks you can win the chili cook-off up here. And one guy that I know will not be a judge for the chili cook-off, well, he is the radio voice of the Fighting Hawks football team, the FM Red Hawks, Central Cast volleyball, Moorhead polo. Well, he just does just about everything. It's Jack Michaels. Jack, good morning. How are you? How are things in the Red River Valley this morning? And welcome to Overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
PSP, baby. Scotty, you're sounding great. Good morning to you. You need to explain. It's not that I don't like chili, but as you and I go back 1,000 years, the allergies would get me. I would eat chili, but then I would have an anaphylactic shock, and it would be the last thing I would do on the earth, which, again, it sounds great, but I don't know if that's the way to go. Good morning, Scotty.
There's no better entertainment value than going to a restaurant with Jack Michaels and sitting down to place your order. It certainly is a process, but the process is much needed and worthy. But nonetheless, Jack, great to have you aboard, my friend. Hey, what does a radio guy do on a weekend with no football?
It's funny. I was just saying all week I was kind of looking forward to this. You know our jobs. We just, it's not like what we're doing is curing the world of a major disease or whatever, but it tends, my day starts at 4:30 in the morning, 5, and then by the time I'm done with Red Hawks baseball at night, I'm home at 11, again, woe is me. But you do that for 109 consecutive days, and then, then you move into football. So this is actually the one weekend, literally in 2021, that I really don't have many obligations. And then our company, because the Fargo Marathon is today, said, "Hey, Jack, why don't you report out of North Fargo?" I'm like, no, you know what time they get up for that marathon? I just wanted to eat a bag of chips and watch the Ryder Cup for a couple of minutes. That was my big plan today. So, yeah, no. So I've been kind of reporting on the Fargo Marathon, which, by the way, Woody, I don't know. Well, maybe, I don't know. You're into fitness. I watching a marathon much better for Jack Michaels than running in a marathon.
Jack, I always say, and back in the day when my uncle was training for marathons, I would go on runs with him, and I'm going, okay, where are we going and when are we going to head back the other way? And I just like to say it, Jack, that's a long ride in a car.
Yeah, that is funny. God bless everybody that gets up, eats a banana, and runs for 26.2 miles, but my goodness, what do you know as well as I do? That's why they invented the vehicle.
No question about it, Jackson. And hey, and I'll tell you what, too, Jack, before we get into the touch on a little bit of football, nonetheless, but a pretty exciting run there for the FM Red Hawks this year.
Yeah, they really did. And, the level of play has really risen in the American Association. Every night is a you're seeing a AAA arm or a Major League arm, and the Red Hawks had a nice run. We lost about 5 starters this year. It was contracts for transfer to Major League Baseball affiliate organizations. So, to Chris Coast, a local kid, a World Series champion with the Phillies in 2008. Yeah. His task was really to find arms to replace the guys that those contracts were signed over to MLB organization. So it's not easy to do, and they had to do it. And then they ran into a Kansas City team that had big arms. Every guy that threw was a big league arm. So it was a good run. They reached the finals, and now it's the off season. So it was a nice run. Good year.
Hey, Jack, and for those folks maybe that are out here that have not seen the Red Hawks game, and you talk about the level of baseball increasing, how good is this baseball? You've seen, you've seen a number of baseball games. You've seen a number. How good is this FM Red Hawks baseball?
Well, the league has just gotten to be a point where, it's not uncommon to, in this league, it was the Northern League, the old Northern League, and there were really good players in that league and guys that came through that league that used it to rebound and springboard back into affiliated ball. Darryl Strawberry used the Northern League to get back into, the Yankee system. J.D. Drew bypassed the draft and ended up being in the Northern League. Darryl Motley played for the Red Hawks. I could go through Jack Morris pitched a year with the Saints. There are guys that use independent ball, to find their stuff, polish their game, whatever it was. And that was good. Now, Woody, it is not uncommon to see arms coming out of the bullpen that are, 9.8, 9.9, 100. I saw guys clocked at 102 this year, with movement, with cuts, with changeups that, for some reason or another, they maybe lost command or they were injured and subsequently got released from their Major League Baseball organization. And then they get healthy and so this is every team. And just the level of talent and guys that were signed out of the American Association didn't go to some low A this year. A lot of them went to double A. We lost our middle infielder after the first week, and he immediately signed to the Texas Rangers, went right to triple A out of Fargo. So, yeah, that's what I'm seeing, Woody, is more of that. And then you mix, the young kid that is from, pitched at Mankato, so you could have a big league arm on the mound against a kid fresh out of Division II that never got signed. So that's what I love about the league. And then the bats, a lot of these guys, they find some barrels, they can hit it. So the stadiums are big and nice. The league is as well, it's a good league. It's the ownership groups are in place. It really is a fun league. And I know a lot of folks that take it in. And I know in Bismarck, the Wood Bat League is a great thing. But, here in the American Association, it really is. It's like watching AA, AAA ball, every night.
Yeah, certainly a great level of baseball. Well, that season has ended for the FM Redhawks. And Jack, it's come to my attention that I think next Saturday around this time there's a big football game taking place up north. Is that correct?
Yeah, I guess they tell me it's in Grand Forks. Get there early and then, bring your chili from the stadium club there and bring that out. And you can tailgate with that. And then if you get lost, call Nick Holberg. He'll give you a ride, that kind of thing. But, yeah, there's a large game there, Woody. And it's funny, I look at this year's game. You remember in the old North Central Conference when the two schools were Division II?
Yep.
And oftentimes maybe you'd play near the end of the season. And it was this big game culminating at the end of the year or near the end of the year. But now here the two teams are FCS, they're Division I. And it's like Daytona, like NASCAR having their Super Bowl at the start of the year. Here's their first conference game, and it's UND and NDSU. And NDSU, the last time they played in Grand Forks was 2003. You got to go back a few years before the last time that they were. And the last time NDSU won in Grand Forks, I think you've got to go back to the early 90s, Woody. Now, those are just some stats on paper. And UND won that 03 game. Let's not get ourselves, though. North Dakota State has done pretty well since then. So you're going to hear all the stats and rhetoric, Woody, but this is a really good Bison team and a UND team that is up and coming.
Yeah.
Quarterfinal round of the FCS, but they're coming off a 38-0 win against Drake, but also a game where they turned the ball over, fumbled 4 times and threw an interception. So Bubba Schweiger going to have those boys, I'm sure, ready to go.
Well, and you look too, Jack, and you hit that right on the head. I had a chance to catch that the game out in Utah State, and certainly, boy, I tell you what, UND came out like gangbusters. But certainly, when you talk about a team that is up and coming and that's got some talent and got some good skilled kids and certainly defensively. But I tell you what, I like the makeup of this. I mean, you've seen what Bubba's done with some of his recruiting class. Apparently, he's got some pipeline to Kevin Feeney and Moorhead because these Moorhead kids certainly are coming up to UND and are shining. But, boy, I tell you what, I think Bubba and his staff, Jack, have got to feel in a pretty good place right now, do they not?
Yeah, they really do. I now that you mention it, too, I wonder if they're going to change the colors from Kelly green and white to orange and black. Orange and black. It's funny, Trey Feeney, he got in the game against Drake, and he's a true freshman. He's the son of Kevin, as you know. And it's kind of funny, Kevin was in the parking lot wearing UND gear tailgating. Now, that's a former Bison quarterback, whose son is at UND. So
I think, Jack, if I would have run into him, I would have said, Kevin, is this like a Halloween joke?
Yeah, did you lose a bet? What happened? I used to do the same thing with Ross Manson, who was a guard for North Dakota State, as you know, Ross, and his daughter, Maggie. Maggie's a guard for the University of North Dakota women's basketball team. So I doubt Ross had zero UND clothing in his, and now he's probably loaded with UND clothing. So those are some of the things. And you're right, Woody. Bubba and his staff have recruited well, and they got a good quarterback who's got poise, Tommy Schuster, who just is an even keel kid. Out of the backfield, Otis Weah is a preseason All-America running back. Yep. And, he busted one in the spring season against North Dakota State in the Fargo Dome and had a big run. And Otis is a load, but, the UND has a few good backs that they can go with. And they got some good youthfulness. What do you call how many Dakota Bowls? Does the name Bo Belquist ring a bell?
Oh boy, does it! Just the name, just you can slice the bow, just the Belquist name in itself.
Right. You just know the family name, and everybody in New Rockford. He's coming back from injury in the spring, and he looked really good. He got a little taste out of Utah State, and then he got in the end zone last weekend against Drake. And they just got talent. They've got talent. Their offensive line. Matt Waletzko probably going to be in the NFL. What he's a left tackle, 6'7", 3 Pickett, 310, 315.
Big.
It's a wonder why the holes open up on the left side and Tommy Schuster gets protected. But there's that. And then Danny Freund, the offensive coordinator for UND. You mentioned the Utah State game. We were out in Logan, and boy, Danny was bringing out all the weapons. I mean, he was. He did end around passes and. He's a former quarterback, so he will do that. But that only gets you so far, as we saw against Utah State. They jumped out to the big lead. They're going to need that and more. And that defense that Bubba runs so well, that 3-4 where the pressures come from various places. The scheme is so intriguing. I know Tyler Roll, the NDSU offensive coordinator, is probably going to have Quincy Patterson, their quarterback, trying to look at film and how to recognize where the pressures are coming from and how to react. This is really going to be a game about those X's and O's, Woody, in the Alero Center on Saturday afternoon at 2 p.m. because UND's got a versatile play-calling offensive coordinator, and then they've got an ingenious defense that will bring pressures. But if the players don't execute, watch out, because North Dakota State right now is looking like they are back to that form. It looks like they were mad that UND won the conference, and they didn't. That's what they look like.
Yeah, no question about it, Jack. Well, hey, my friend, as always, I appreciate you. A new kickoff for us out here in the West. New show here today. something really that I carried on for you, from what you started. So Here we are in a new era, a new platform. But Jack, I think things move on, but, it would be remiss not to thank you for allowing me to keep this thing going on a new platform with Nick Hallberg. And as always, I know we're going to do it again, my friend. And as always, I appreciate your time this morning.
Well, you got it, Woody. And I know that was how many years ago we started that, and you just taken it to other levels and now to a new platform, as you said. And at PSP, what you guys are doing, I'm a big fan of Nick. I'm a big fan of what that network does, because I know that it serves communities and parents, and it's exciting. And you guys are such pros in what you do. It just keep up the great work. And it's all about highlighting our local youth and coaches and whatnot. So you got it, brother. And you get back to your chili. I'm going to go back and watch people vomit in a garbage can after running 26. Oh, actually, no, they won't. All right, Woody, sounds good, buddy.
Jackson, have a great call next Saturday, my friend. All right, we'll talk again soon. There you have it, Jack Michaels. All right, buddy, take care. Jack Michaels, the radio voice of the Red Hawks. You can hear him next Saturday as UND and NDSU will do battle. We'll take another time out here on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee and the PSP Network. We come back. We'll talk with Jeff Kolpak from the Fargo Forum. Back with more on Overtime after this timeout.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know.
Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zoom, zoom?
I think your quash litter valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance? If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics. Purchase 4 eligible Firestone tires and receive up to $120 in a prepaid Visa gift card. Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
With 28 on the shot clock, 53 on the game clock, sends it inside. Here's Allie Nelson to the right side. Cheddar's open, 4-3, on low, she scores!
PSP Network has one mission: promoting our local athletes while delivering pro-quality broadcast coverage. Stay up to date with the PSP Network on Twitter @NetworkPSP and on Facebook @The PSP Network. Like and follow our social media for your chance to win. PSP Network. It's game day. Whether you're looking
Yeah, welcome back to Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Glad to have you aboard on the PSP Network as we're live from the Stadium Lodge. College football underway. The Ryder Cup in full swing. USA right now, they keep putting points on the board, 7-3. USA, they've got more matches to go this afternoon, so should be some exciting afternoon of golf in the Ryder Cup at Whistling Straits. And joining me right now, they say this – what we're doing here, Nick, we're live, kind of a form of a podcast and things like that. But when you want to talk about the kings of podcasts and the kings of writing books and the kings of just doing everything in the media, well, it's my next guest, and it's honored to. And the guy's got his own golf show. I don't know if he's a very good golfer. Joining me right now from Fargo, somewhere covering the marathon, the man, the myth, the legend, Jeff Kolpak. Jeffrey, good morning. How are you this morning, and welcome.
Wow, I need to get you a few beers for that introduction. My goodness. You sure you're not drunk right now? Come on, Woody.
Well, Jeffrey, no, I know I'm not. Certainly not to say that it's not on the top of my mind, but nonetheless, I guess first and foremost, Jeff, I gotta ask you. I know this year you made some switches in your own right, and you felt that the FM area needed a golf show, and what a better time to have you on and the Ryder Cup going on. And I guess first and foremost, how's that golf show been going for you this year?
Oh, I love it. I've done it actually for a few years, but I went over to 740 The Fan, the all sports station this year, and God, it was just so much fun. The guys over there did a great job and helped me out and getting that on the air. And it's a huge signal. Woody, if I just could do a golf show once a week and that's all I did, I'd have life by what. I mean, yeah. That'd be just the greatest thing ever. What do you do? I do a golf show once a week.
Well, and you think about that too, and you could be doing it live from the Ryder Cup right now. You could be doing it live from the Masters. You could be doing something live from somewhere else. You're right. That would be a fantastic gig, Jeffrey.
Oh, there's something about the Ryder Cup. Isn't it just such a cool part of golf? It's different. It's competitive. It's a different competition. There's company or country loyalty on the line. And it brings out a different intensity, I think, in these golfers. It's hard to describe it. I mean, I was glued to it yesterday. I'm covering the marathon right now. I'm at the Fargo Dome, so I haven't been able to catch any of it, this morning. But so we're at 7-3 right now.
Yeah, 7-3 right now. We lost Rahm and Sergio Garcia got beat 3-1. John DJ and Morikawa win 2-1. Thomas and Spieth are 1 up on 17, and Schauffele and Cantlay are 3 up. But Jeff, I guess one thing I want to ask you too about is I want to you being in the media business that you have and do such a hell of a job in, and you always have been. What are your thoughts on this Brooks Koepka thing that leading into this Ryder Cup and his comments of what he made and then coming up in a press conference and basically blaming the media for blowing this thing out of proportion? What are your thoughts on that whole situation?
Blew what out of proportion? Brooks Koepka, he's an interesting cat, I guess is the best way to put it. A little brash, I think, and for us to. So he's going to blame the messenger for his idiot comments that he's made over a year or two. He just comes off as arrogant, doesn't he? He just doesn't pass the smell test to me.
Yeah, and I agree, and I mean and basically it's what do you he said what he said. And basically all the media is doing is reporting what he said, and then all of a sudden he turns it and says the media blew what his comments way out of proportion.
What did we make it up? Did the media, are we meaning the media, did we make that stuff up? I mean, I just, and I just, I don't know what to say about the guy. He's not my favorite. Look at guys like Cantlay. Those are the guys you want to root for, isn't it?
Yeah.
God, he was good yesterday.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And I want to go back to, Jeff, what you said about this Ryder Cup, and you sit there and you watch this thing get started yesterday, and you see the people. I saw a video this morning. They literally showed the people. It looked like the start of the Fargo Marathon, running to get to that first tee. But when you sit there and you watch that, and you see these guys come through the tunnel, I mean, I don't know. There's not many things that give you chills, but I mean that really does, because as you said, you're competing for your country, and it's a team event, and you're playing with a guy who you want to kick his tail each and every weekend when you're out on tour. But now, you know what? Now you and I got to play together so we can kick their tail. There's just a lot of good things about this Ryder Cup.
I've been to the Masters, and actually walking through the gates of Augusta kind of gave me chills, like you said. But the Ryder Cup is a goal of mine. I missed it when I was at Hazeltine for whatever reason, and I think it's coming back to Hazeltine, and I got to find my way to that event. But yeah, everybody that goes to it says it's just different, and it's. You look at the Waste Management Open in Phoenix, the 16th hole, and it's, Rosh's par 3 atmosphere. I don't know if it's quite like that, but I think it seems like that it's just, it brings out a different feeling within the fans that, instead of rooting for one guy or two, they're rooting for a bunch. The team event, and it's unique. I hope they go back to every 2 years. I know it got postponed because of COVID.
Yep.
Are they going to do it next year? I forgot to look, but
yeah, I don't know, and certainly you're right. It should be something that I hope is every 2 years. But going back to Jeff, to you in your golf show, and I'm guessing when you do that, I mean, I'm guessing you've made some pretty good relationships and. And what kind of people have you had the opportunity to visit with on your golf show, and some cool interviews, or I'm guessing Amy Olsen's been one of them you've had a chance to talk to, but just talk about the relationships maybe that you've developed in doing this golf show, moving it to a new platform, but nonetheless, what a cool thing.
Yeah, it's fun. I go all over the map. Amy, of course, is incredible. I mean, she is what you see is what you get with Amy Olsen. Just the nicest person ever. Compassionate, I think, and available, and means what she says when she talks to you. Obviously, Tom Hoagie is, once or twice a year I have him on, and God, he's done well. I mean, the difference between the PGA Tour player and maybe what you see in the Dakotas Tour, that stops in Fargo, and I don't know if they have a Bismarck or Minot. I know they're there.
Yeah, they used to in Bismarck a long time ago, but not anymore. But I think Fargo really is the main stop for that one.
And there's not a lot of difference between the player in the Dakotas Tour and the Tom Hoagie's the PGA Tour. The margin's so slim, but yet it's so big. It's hard to describe. It's maybe a shot here or there, and the consistency and the ability just to be able to continue to make $1 million a year on the PGA Tour is amazing. So I go that route. Equipment, courses, of course. Hawk Trees. I've featured that course and Red Mike and some of the courses around the area. Just enjoy talking golf and with people. And it's in this world where COVID has so dominated us and the politics are so nasty. It's just great to talk about something that's so good. And that's golf, except when I play. I'm not playing that well.
Well, you're right. I mean, there's not a better sport, when you talk about the game of golf, and I think you look and I've played enough golf where I've played with some guys that played on those mini tours and things like that, and I think you talk about it's a shot or two, and one of the guys, a good friend of mine, missing the U.S. Open by a shot because of this, but you look at these guys that are playing that are now amateurs and stuff like that, and you go, wow. just how good these guys really are that we're watching play in the Ryder Cup right now is just absolutely amazing.
I think the most captivating thing I've ever seen in golf, though, was when Amy last December in the U.S. Women's Open almost won the U.S. Women's Open a day after her father-in-law, who is Grant Olson, the linebackers coach at NDSU. His father passed away, and she was able to fight through that. Luckily, they had a rain delay, so she could at least take a day there, and because he died on a Saturday, and she tees it up on a Monday, knowing that, you know, this family tragedy just happened, and how she was able to get through that is one of the most amazing sports feats I've ever seen in golf. And, you know, it wasn't a shot or anything, just mentally and emotionally, how people helped her through it, how her caddy, I talked to her caddy, would, you know, say a prayer for her here and there. And then after the round, in her post interview, she showed the human toll of it all. And for her to almost get through it and win that was, I don't know if we'll ever see that, certainly in this area. I don't think we'll ever be able to see something as quite as, dramatic, I guess, is the best word I could put to it.
And when you talk about that, and you talk about the mental awareness, how mentally challenging golf is in a non-situation like that. I mean, it's hard enough mentally to go out there and do that, but to go out there and do that and almost win a major event like that, knowing what has taken place in the past day, you're right, Jeff. I couldn't agree with you more. It's an amazing feat. It really is, and kudos to her.
Yeah, she's a very spiritual young woman, and she said she was singing some spiritual songs in her head, and that helped. And I don't know, golf. You think about it as a sort of boring, mundane thing, but it really isn't. I mean, everybody has a story.
Yeah, no question about it. Well, Jeffrey, hey, as always, appreciate you coming on the inaugural show, and the insight that you bring, it's unbelievable.
Oh, thanks, Woody. You got my number, so anytime.
Hey, we're going to do it again, my friend. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and we'll talk soon. All right, bud?
Yep. See Woody. Thanks.
All right, take care. Jeff Kolpak, from, as you heard, 740 The Fan. He's got his golf show there, and I'll tell you what, always a great guy. And you want to talk about a guy, Nick, that got a lot of knowledge? That's a guy right there, and he's just a great guy to talk to.
Yeah, I love it. That was fantastic. I will be tracking down that show for sure, without a doubt.
Yeah, no, certainly. Jeff Kolpak is a good one. We'll take another time out, and overtime we come back. We're going to talk with the guy. He's the host of the Hot Mic, Don Mizzo. We're going to talk, we're going to bring up the conversation with Don Mizzo about the state of the North Dakota high school football play as we come back with more on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know.
Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zzz?
I think your quash litter valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance? If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics. Purchase 4 eligible Firestone tires and receive up to $120 in a prepaid Visa gift card. Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
With 28 on the shot clock, 53 on the game clock, sends it inside. Here's Allie Nelson to the right side. Cheddar's open, 4-3, on low, she scores!
PSP Network has one mission: promoting our local athletes while delivering pro-quality broadcast coverage. Stay up to date with the PSP Network on Twitter @NetworkPSP and on Facebook @The PSP Network. Like and follow our social media for your chance to win. PSP Network. It's game day. Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Yeah, welcome back to Overtime with Scott Woodmansee, live from the Stadium Lodge in Northwest Bismarck. Glad to have you aboard this morning. Hey, you were looking for a place to watch some college football or the Ryder Cup. I'll make the Stadium Lodge your home, full-service menu. They'll take care of you. Specials going on throughout the day. Come on up on a beautiful fall Saturday afternoon and watch the Ryder Cup and some college football. Well, joining me right now, our next guest, we'll talk a little bit of a hot topic, and certainly he is the host of Hot Mike in the Fargo-Moorhead area, also the television voice of NDSU football, and he just really kind of does it all in the FM area. Joining me right now is Dom Izzo. Dom, good morning. How are you this morning?
Good, Woody. How you been, bud? It's good to hear your voice.
Hey, man, things have been good. And, I'll tell you what, high school football on fire right now. The Ryder Cup going on. So lots of things going on, not only in the state but all over the country. And it's a great time of the year, Dom, if you're in the sports business.
Oh, gosh. It's from where we were last year to right now, it's a complete 180. And looking forward to, obviously, the big game next week in Grand Forks. It's going to – between now and next Saturday, it's going to be wild, I have a feeling.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Dom, you know what? Again, thanks for joining me this morning. It's always great to chat with you. And I wanted to bring you on because in perusing the social media calendar this week, I saw a thing that you brought up on your show on Hot Mike, and it's the state of the high school football divisions in North Dakota. And certainly the conversation, I think, really elevated, Dom, when folks found out, certainly out in your area where you're at, and out west, because there's been a lot of conversation after last night's game, is the fact that the Fargo-Davies Eagles shutting out Bismarck High last night, get another win. And right now, the Davies Eagles, we're turning the calendar October, Dom, and they're not playing for anything.
Yeah, it's really wild, Woody, and this has been something I've been on top of for the last 18 months when I heard about this plan of restructuring high school football in North Dakota, and obviously WDAY, we're the TV partners of the High School Association, and this is something where, frankly, I struggle to see why they did this, and that's been the last 18 months. I've tried to get reaction from 9-man. I still go by the old designation. So I still go by 9-man, Class A, 2A, and 3A. And I have a hard time finding any coach who has signed off on this. There's a couple, and they're pretty obvious of who they are. But most, I'd say 98% in the state are not happy of what's gone down. And you mentioned Davies. They're already eliminated from the playoffs, Woody, because they've lost to West Fargo and Shanley, and how the new structure in 3A, whatever it is now, 11-2A is what they call it.
Yep.
Only 3 teams out of the East make it and 5 out of the West, because there's only 4 teams in the East and 6 in the West. And because Davies has already lost to Shanley and West Fargo, the best they can do if they beat Cheyenne would be 1-2, and they wouldn't have the tiebreaker on anybody else, and they're done. And it's September 25th, and they're playing for pride the rest of the way. I can't hate this any more than I've probably already said it. It has definitely generated some pretty good feedback here. And I look, Woody, at what's now known as 11B, former Class A.
Yep.
And that is a cage match of who's going to make it to the Dome with Langdon, Hillsboro, Harvey, Velva, Beulah. All those teams are at Central Cass, Kindred. All of them now are in the same class. And unfortunately, they're going to play each other well before they get to the Dome. So it's like the old Class B basketball tournament where we had the predetermined regions, and they were, sometimes the best game was the 1 p.m. game on a Thursday. Thankfully, they've corrected that for the basketball side of things, but we could really run into that where, the first weekend in November could be the best game of the whole tournament and not the Fargo Dome, and that's really upsetting.
And you're right, and Dom, and as I look at this and I see this come out, and if I'm sitting in this room and I look at the way that they're doing, as you talked about, the 6 teams out here, the 4 teams out there, and you look at it and you go, okay, well, why don't we do this, or why didn't we do this? Why didn't we say, okay, the winner of the West and the winner of the East, you guys are in. Yeah. And then we go and we say, okay, now we're going to take the next 6 best records based on whatever that is, and you guys are in. And then we go and we take this QRF formula And then now we rank, okay, out of 1 and 2, probably going to be Century and Cheyenne. All right, who's 1, who's 2 out of those 2? And then we go down there. It just seems so simple, Dom.
Yeah, even if we just go 1 through 8, or the top 2 get buys, and Century and Cheyenne don't play in the first round, I'm fine with that. Just anything is better than what they have. You mentioned the game last night, Davies and Bismarck, and I've talked to Gibby's been on my show, and you know how he is very out there with how he feels about this, and I don't blame him. I think he's 100% right. So Davies could win all of its games against the West. They can win all their games. He finished 7-2 and be left home, where maybe a Mandan will get in with a worse record and they lost to Davies, or a Minot gets in and they lost to him. But that's the way it works, because they're mandated to have 3 from the East and 5 from the West. It makes no sense.
Yeah. And, you know, Dom, I know where as I'm sure you do, where this whole thing engineered out of Grand Forks. And
yes.
And I last year I had that gentleman on, Mark Rarick, on the show. And I asked him a question, and I guess I'll pose the same to you, is in your mind, when you look at this, Dom, when you're doing what you're doing with football and you're changing these divisions, does this maybe pose something that we need to go to a 3-class system in high school basketball?
Oh, goodness. There's a whole other can of worms there. Personally, I think nobody was asking for a change here
exactly.
in football.
Exactly.
I still can't wrap my mind around that. I'm around this sport as much as I can be, and from out west to Fargo to Waupun and wherever, I've not heard. Now, there are certain pockets, Scotty.
Yep.
Waupun, I know, was unhappy. Jamestown, I know, was unhappy. Dickinson, I know, was not thrilled with where they're at. But what are you going to do? And my whole thing always been, if you play soccer or hockey, you have to be in the top class.
Yes.
Jamestown does that. They have to play in the top class. I know population determines that. And I know they had a great year last year. Unfortunately, it was derailed with COVID at the end. But I think Bill Nelson would tell you that they were able to compete last year in 3A. Maybe that's not the case every single year. But to answer your question directly, I don't think so.
Okay.
Because I think they attack something in football that there wasn't a problem at. You know, the Grand Forks schools have no problem in hockey blowing everybody out, which they do. But in football, they struggle, and I don't know why it had to be changed for everybody else because of them. And that's the real crux of it, in my opinion.
Well, and I think too, the one thing you talk about, Dom, is you talk about that Dakota Bowl, and you know you're going to get a good matchup in the 11 AA more than likely.
You hope so, right? That's what you're hoping for.
You know you're probably going to get one in 11A. I mean, you got to throw in St. Mary's, Jamestown, and where this thing is going. And then right now, you know, maybe the game that a lot of people are going to be looking forward to is this 11B game, because as you said, I mean, it is an absolute mess, and you're probably going to get 2 really good teams, and you're going to have a lot of them sitting at home.
Well, I look at this week. Langdon and Hillsborough are playing this week, and that could be a playoff game in the second round, which is terrible. That could be a state championship game. It has been. Hillsborough and Langdon played back-to-back years of that class. The last team that Langdon lost to was Hillsborough, and that was 4 years ago, which is kind of crazy just to say out loud. But it didn't need to be changed, and I just wish that. Now, here's the thing: there are certain schools. Waupun's having a nice year. Fargo North is. They've typically have not been very good. They're finally I think they're in a class that suits them, and I have no problem, Scotty, with teams that move down. That's not my issue.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%. Agree with you 100% on that.
The playoff structure is the problem I have on it.
Yeah, and Dom, in the conversations that you've had out there, I mean, do you see this changing again?
Well, that's a good question. The people I've reached out to, I think that they're going to let this ride, I think, for a couple of years, and then it's going to get blown up again. I do. I think there's enough unhappiness among the coaches on this that I think that they will push back to get this back. I do think, though, where Fargo South is and Fargo North is and the Grand Forks schools, they're not going back up.
Yep.
They have that option to go back. I don't think they're going to, Scotty. I think they found this is their quote-unquote sweet spot, because each of them have won. Central won a football game. Red River's won a couple games. That hasn't happened over the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, and I think you talk about, too, Dom, when you talk about teams out here, I mean, and the imposing question I have is, and I know it comes to numbers, is the Williston Coyotes. I mean, the Williston Coyotes, I mean, and what they're doing is they're, you know, they haven't, I mean, they've won 1 game this year already, and first one in a number of years, but they're just going, we just need to to enhance and maybe build our program and get more interest in it, we don't need to get beat 63-7 every week. We need to go down and play, win a couple games, get some kids excited again for football in Williston, North Dakota.
And I think the same thing applies in Grand Forks. It's always a numbers game. And I look, West Fargo's going to have another high school on the scene next year. Horace opens up, and they're going to play in that I still call it 2A, but eventually they're going to be back in the 3A division with the other West Fargos. It's just a matter of population size, and we're going to be right back in this same boat again in a couple of years. I get it for those schools. Like Watford's the same boat. Watford got its brains beat in AA by the likes of Central Cass and Kinder. Are they better off now where they're at? Probably, but again, I just no one's ever going to be happy. I just don't understand why wills were bent to like 5 or 6 schools. That's what it seems like it was done here.
Oh, there's no question about it. Well, Dom, I'll tell you what, my friend, I mean, we got a whole nother football game we could talk about, but we don't have enough time to do that. The next week should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to the call from you. But, hey, appreciate the time. We're going to do it again soon, all right, my friend? And
sounds good, bud. I appreciate the call.
Yeah,
well.
If we don't talk to you before, we'll see you. I guess we'll probably see you at the Dakota Bowl, huh?
That's the plan. Sounds good.
All right, buddy. Take care. Have a good rest of the weekend. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
All right, you bet. Dom Izzo from Hot Mike doing a great job, and there you have it. There's his breakdown on this. And Nick, I tell you what, I think after seeing what he had put out there and what he had done, I couldn't agree with him more. I mean, this thing does not make any sense.
I love it. You get Dom Izzo, who is respected across the state, across the region, somebody that obviously knows his stuff, a guy that you and I both have the utmost respect for, unfiltered right there. You get your real thoughts on it, and it's coming from the top all the way down. I mean, I know that I can't speak for you. I can speak for myself. There's kinks in the system. There's things that just don't make sense here.
Well, and I think the one thing that you take out of that conversation that he had there is that what he said, nobody asked for it.
Nobody asked for it.
Nobody asked for it. Why'd we do it?
Why did we do it? And here's my other thing. You look at it. I mean, you look at high school hockey, and this is my forte.
That's and that's a whole nother discussion.
Mike Peluso and I were on a war wagon trail on this deal back in 2014, Scotty. I mean, I had a PowerPoint presentation ready to take to Valley City to the NDHSA with Mike Peluso in hand. You know what I mean? And we put that thing together. We had Grant Paranika from Central on board, the Grand Forks schools. We had Botno and David Hoff up there on board. We had all these guys from around all of North Dakota high school hockey saying that we are craving this. We need it. It's got to happen. We got to split into two different tiers here, AA and a single A for North Dakota high school hockey. We made zero headway, zero ground on the issue. You know how verbal Mike Peluso was before he and his whole staff left Bismarck High, and then all of a sudden we're sitting here, and then all of a sudden I'm sitting around, and the next thing I know, we're going to a 2-tiered system in high school football for the top level, and I'm knocked back in my seat going, where in the hell did this come from?
Yeah, there's no question about it, my friend. Well, certainly lots more discussion to have, and we'll do that. We've got the platform to do that. We're going to do it. But you know what? All good things must come to an end. And, that's going to end the opening of the first overtime show. Nick, hey, thanks for being here. Appreciate it, man. And I'm looking forward to continue this thing for many years to come, all right?
I can't even wait. I don't know how you'll top show number 1 with the guests we had, Jack and Dom, and across the board. I mean, fantastic job, Woody. We couldn't be more excited, and we'll continue to grow this thing as time continues. And again, thank you for everything you do.
Absolutely. Well, we want to thank all of our guests this morning. Certainly want to thank Nick Hallberg. Ron Wingenbach, unfortunately, got a text message from Steve Kleingen. He had a family emergency, so he could not attend, but we'll certainly bring him back again. Chris Clements, Jack Michaels, Jeff Kolpak, and Dom Izzo. Again, hey, folks, you're looking for a place to watch. People starting to come in here, watch college football, the Ryder Cup, make the Stadium Lodge your home this afternoon. Remember, also reach out to Danny if you're interested. Those cook-offs coming up around the corner in October should be a lot of fun here. Next week, hey, make the Stadium Lodge your home. Bison, UND, 2 o'clock. We'll be here. Hope you are too. Again, thanks to all of our guests this morning. Until next time, Scott Woodmansee saying so long from the Stadium Lodge.